What advice would we give LPs? Given we're 10 years into an economic cycle and near peak private equity valuations, it's a great time to ask the question. I was also reminded of the fact when I was presenting to a group of LPs several months ago that when asked how many of the audience had been in private equity during the last downturn, only about 30% of the hands went up. It's a great question. If we think about our advice, we probably have 4 big buckets. First, back to basics. Think about vintage diversification. There's a lot of pressure to put money to work when times are good. The best outcome is to dollar average into the market. It's a long-lived asset class. It's hard to call which sub-asset classes are going to be good in any given period. It's hard to call the next 06, 07, and equally hard to call when there's going to be a great vintage like 04. Smoothing in ends up being the best recipe. Select the managers. Manager selection is the key to performance and outperformance in the industry. If you look at the best performing LPs over time, they manage to get just above median at manager selection in every vintage. It's hard, but the dividends compound quickly. Diversify, but don't over-diversify. There's benefit to diversification, but at the same time, it makes that manager selection harder. We think about 15 positions per year is adequate. Going above that, it's really challenging to find and create a portfolio of the best managers. 2, remember what happened last time. According to CPRIS data, almost 50% of returns since 2010 have been multiple appreciation. Juxtapose that against 08 to 10, when in fact it was all about revenue and margin growth. Best performers are going to index to the managers and towards the subsectors that can consistently drive performance on the revenue and margin line. 3, innovation. Find the managers who know what they're good at. They know what capabilities they have and they know how they outperform. At the same time, look for those that are willing to innovate. A couple of things we see. Buy and build. It's been part of the industry for a long time. Those that are best at it are constantly reinventing their game. They're doing more with advanced analytics. They're thinking about their capabilities and their people, and they're investing to get it right faster. At the same time, we see people doing more big M&A, acting almost as strategics to take their return through synergies. Again, innovation. Digital. We see digital in omni-channel. Those get the headlines. But there's room also in traditional industries. One of my favorite examples, a PE firm who took a spring and fastener business, hit the digital marketing, put the catalog online, and hit outsized performance from revenue and margin growth perspective, ended up being a home run. 4th and finally, plant the seeds. It's very challenging to get the asset exposure that you want in a downturn in places like distressed and special opportunities. If you want those relationships and if you want the exposure, it's never too early to start.